Hey guys, this is Formal. I wanted to do a quick little video talking about some of the changes and the patch notes coming through with the wipe. I know a lot of you guys are really interested in some of my opinions and some of the smaller things. I've talked a few of the things on stream, but I wanted to do a really in-depth video talking about just what these changes mean for the game in my opinion and some of my thoughts on them. I know some of these opinions are going to be controversial, and I wanted to preface this video by saying this is my opinion. You are more than welcome to disagree, and I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I just ask that you be civil. So, we're on the Escape from Tarkov website. Let's take a look at the patch notes. Now, there are a couple of big, huge bugs with the game right now that are being fixed. They just released this hotfix 12.11 today, 12.11.1 right here, and this is fixing a lot of the extract stuff like that. So, some of the things I talk about might be bugs, and if they are, I apologize, but this is just the information that I have available. So, a couple of different hotfixes fixing some of the bugs. The reputation does increase while killing raiders as a scav. This is big. This wipe especially, I've had a lot of issues with trying to fight raiders because, as you know, raiders are hostile to you as a scav, and so trying to fight as a scav to get raiders for loot and to protect yourself, losing scav for that is kind of a big deal because you're getting punished for protecting yourself, which is a great step in the right direction for the scav karma system. I will talk about that later. Pro movement in bushes. This is just kind of a tweak to something we'll talk about later. This right here is what I'm excited about, and I haven't played and seen how this works, but if this is working as intended now, this is going to be big as well. Fence reputation now won't decrease if the player killed a scav who attacked first. This has been big. I've had a lot of issues right now with the new scav karma system, which is basically if you as a scav kill another scav, you lose reputation with fence, or scav karma as we're calling it. If you kill a player scav who's killed another scav, you gain karma. But what's been happening is that a player scav will shoot at you, you will defend yourself, and you'll lose reputation. So that's huge. Tagilla getting stuck, I've seen this a little bit. I'm glad that's fixed various minor fixes. Okay, patch notes. Factory expansion. I think people aren't talking about the factory expansion enough. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and one of the things that I really enjoy about Tarkov is the world building. You can take a lot of pictures and take a look at some of the videos and gameplay of Underground Reserve, the new factory expansion, even dorms and stuff like that. It's just very atmospheric, and I think the Tarkov dev team made a really, really nice expansion to the game. I think that there's not a lot of loot there, but factory isn't really a loot map, and I think it adds a really nice spot to fight and change dynamics, and having a spot that's a little bit more, it's a smaller open area instead of the big long hallways and then really tight corridors. It's a nice mid area, and it adds some nice spaces to hide and move, because that's kind of one of the issues with factories, that if you run from somebody, there's only like really two places you can go. It's kind of hard to, it can be hard to get around people, especially in the tunnels, and this just kind of changes that. It gives people a nice position to run and then turn and fight to. It also gives Tagilla places to be and not just be out in the open where you can just headshot him, which is nice. First iteration of weapon malfunctions and technical deteriorating. You can have a misfire on almost any gun in the game. Misfire can be resolved in different ways, not only by the resolve key, but also by different bolt-related manipulations. Technical condition of guns and their deterioration for firing. Certain ammunition and weapon mods will affect deterioration speed. We added a new spat to the inspector menu called durability burn, which will show that. Different ammo has increased or decreased chance of misfires. Technical condition of weapon influences on base accuracy offset the center point of impact and general misfire chance. And that's that last subsect. Also, NVIDIA reflexes under the weapon malfunctions tab, which is just interesting. I guess because it's an input lag. Now, I know a lot of people are really having issues with this, and they're saying that real guns don't misfire this often, and a bunch of other issues. One, I have not had a single misfire in the game yet. I understand that that's just random chance, but that's just me. A couple of things I want to say about this, and people aren't going to like this, but you know what? You came to my video, so you're getting my opinions. One, guns do misfire. As someone who shoots quite frequently, who shoots competitively, who does firearms as hobby, even your Knights Armament Company guns, your very nice firearms, do misfire. Most of the time, it's not because of the gun, it's because you put the magazine in wrong, or you're using improper ammunition or magazines. And one of the #1 causes of misfires and squibs and failure to feeds, failure to ejects, things like that, which are the standard malfunctions in a firearm, are improper magazine emplacement, or insertion, or removal. And so, I think it's really ridiculous. People are like, guns don't malfunction this much. You're right, that's a half-truth. But when you're in a gunfight and things like that in stress, you're going to put magazines in wrong. You're going to do all of these things. That's why the military trains people to put in magazines so much. And you can be a private military contractor, you can be whoever you are. Even in stress, you're going to input magazines wrong. Especially if you take, there's some really interesting stuff on the internet of watching people who shoot with M4s and ARs, and they go in and they use an AK, which has a different magazine insertion system. And the magazine in an AK will click in incorrectly, and then it'll feed one round and then jam. because it's pushing the bullet into what is the equivalent of the feed ramp, basically. It's not a fault of the AK, it's a fault of the user. And so especially in Tarkov, where people are like, Marialism! And they're talking about, like, my USEC jammed an AK reliable AK reliable. Your USEC is just not used to doing that. Bear's using it for the same thing. So much of firearms is not, I understand guns. It's understanding specific firearms, manual of arms, and operating those specific firearms. And so especially under stress, I think the implementation of it's great. I really enjoy the ammo degradation on firearms, and I like that repair is a skill and something that can be improved. I also enjoy that there's a lot of different ways to resolve the malfunctions. And while I do think malfunctions add an element of randomness to the game, I think the argument of randomness is kind of invalid in the sense of that there's so much randomness in Tarkov already. Tarkov is not a game that will be able to be played competitively in its current state, and that's okay, it's not meant to be. But there's so much randomness and chance already in Tarkov. You're not adding randomness to a game that's incredibly consistent every single time you're going to fight these 3 people who are at these 3 skill levels. There's so much just randomness inherent in the game that I don't think adding the randomness argument has a little bit of validity, and that you're adding random chance and removing skill, sure. I think it's going to be a bigger deal early wipe, it's going to fade off later in the wipe, but also, if you want to make a realism argument, I think you could go either way. Also, don't talk to me about realism when you can serve your broken arms back on with your arms that have been shot off by 12mm buckshot. I study medicine. That's just going to be real here with you, Chief. That's not how that works. You know, quick clot, Cellulux granules, your hemostats don't stop bleeding instantly. You guys understand. That's until medicine is fixed, I don't really think the argument for realism is that valid. That's okay. This is my opinion. NVIDIA reflex support, we haven't seen a lot of statistics on this. I don't think it's going to make as big a difference as people think it is. I think it's going to be great for input lag. I haven't had any big issues with input lag. I know a lot of other people say that they haven't as well. Your mileage may vary. I don't think it's going to do a lot for desync, but it's something just to try out. We'll see how that goes. This is being Scav Karma, which is fence reputation. I'm going to be using the two interchangeable here. Players can lose reputation by killing hostile scavs and gain it by helping scavs and scav bosses to kill their enemy. You also gain fence reputation by using a friendly scav exfil or using a car exfil. What does this do? Player scav cooldown, big. Scav box craft time, how much when you send scavs out to go find things for you, how much time does that take? Excuse me. Amount of exfils to the player scav. This is something that's really important, and this is how they're punishing people who are doing scav on scav violence, is that you lose extracts to the point where if you get low enough, you can only extract with a friendly PMC. That ain't gonna happen, Chief. Car extract fee, which is nice. Player scav kit, which we'll see how high that goes if you can get to being a raider or not. I don't think anybody knows. Prices selling item to fence. This is more important than people think, because especially with weapon durability and stuff, this will eventually help you make a lot more money. Higher fence reputation is, the more often AI scavs will agree to help player scavs and respond to commands, follow, hold position. With very low reputation, AI scavs will attack player scavs. And very high levels of reputation, AI scavs will help by attacking player scavs' enemies, and bosses will be considered allies. I am really excited to be able to be a scav boss and go pick up like 5 scavs and just run around and start blasting people. It's going to be great. Players will be able to purchase uninsured items lost by their players by reaching fence's max loyalty level. I think hackers are going to buy everything good. Just being 100% with you guys, I don't think this is ever going to be a thing that's going to be super valid for players. Like, I don't think you might be able to snipe 1 or 2 things, but especially when we saw like the Bitcoin trades and stuff like that, especially since they're individual items, I don't think there's going to be enough good loot that's unclaimed to be worth it, but we'll see. I could be totally wrong. Sorting table. This is probably the thing I'm most excited about this wipe. Additional expandable space, which is great help in organizing the stash. It's not supposed to be used for storage, but only as a temporary buffer zone. It will be available only when out of raid, has no size limitations. Open the sorting table clicking the button. Quickly put items in the sorting table. Do shift, left mouse, click hotkey combination. Work only when sorting table is opened. I want to see if weapon presets can go into here, but this will fix the most pain in the ass thing in Tarkov. It's not getting head-eyes. It's not getting shot by a shotgun scav. It's trying to put together a damn weapon preset, and it's saying it doesn't have space when it clearly does have space. This right here. Full rework of in-game ballistics parameters and objects for location, penetration chance, bullet deviation, fragmentation. I'm really excited for this too. There was a bunch of things in Tarkov previously that were just really ridiculous on what penned and what didn't. A lot of stuff like barrels in factory were bulletproof, and then some of them weren't, and you just kind of had to learn, this is the square barrel with the metal on the edges, this is completely shoot-throughable, but a plastic barrel isn't. This concrete barricade is. And when you would shoot through something, you would do like 3 damage. Now that that's being reworked, I think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this is desync, when it's just the new penetration changes. I want to wait before I give a full opinion on this. I'm really excited for it though. New equipment, severed body armor, vest, chest rigs, backpacks, new stuff, always good. New weapons. There's a bunch of new weapons, new shotguns, new optics. There's also the CMMG Mutant, which is a M4-like rifle that shoots 7.62 by 39. I've yet to use one, but I have a very strong suspicion that that might be one of the more like off-meta picks. Like that might replace the AK-103. Like AK-103 Mutant might be like the if you want to use BP, because BP's a bitch of a round. Don't at me. It's fantastic. I think that's going to be interesting to see how that plays in the meta. New quests, barter items, new streamer items, which is always exciting. Face customization options. This was bugged where everybody got the same PMC face, but the new ones are really cool. Weapon mods, some of them are really edgy and they make me really happy. I'm really excited for them to see people running around with the fucking like Punisher skull AR handguard. Suspicious player in the flea market, you know, that's fine. Streamer status is really great for people who don't want to get stream sniped, which is great. Voice command settings make sense now, which is good. It's not a weird like submenu and a submenu to bind things to tell somebody to fuck off. More use of the voice comms because the voice acting is fantastic is always going to be a good thing. Top up context, which is nice. That's just you can refill stacks of ammo. Quality of life stuff, new skills. Okay. Optics rework. This is probably my second most excited thing after that table. The optics rework is great because the aiming camera will now always be at an equal distance for the weapon. Distance does not depend on the sight installed, the way it is mounted on the gun, the receiver, the handguard, the change effects mechanical on collimator sights, including those used in hybrid sights. So, what this means is that running a scout style optic, which is where you see like the AK with a optic on the front handguard instead of on the back, probably is going to be a little bit more valid to give you a little bit more eye relief, or not eye relief, but field of view around, stuff like that. Things like the ACOG are looking a lot better. I really enjoy the new EOTech. I like the optics changes. In my opinion, LVPOs, which is a low variable power optics, LPVOs, sorry, low power variable optics, things like your Voodoos, your Fast Fire, your TAC 30s, things like that. Those are just really close to your face, for my opinion. I think they need to be moved back a little bit. Like your face needs to be moved away from a little bit. Those need to just be tweaked a little bit. Other than that, I'm really excited for that. Number of items can be put in the flea market a lot. Now the size is cannot exceed the size of the stash. This is great because this is just annoying. Kappa quest is more difficult. We'll see how that is. I don't know if anybody who's gotten a Kappa yet. Flea market's accessible at level 20. This is a hot topic right now. I enjoy how the wipe is playing right now. I am very concerned though that this is going to be harder on people who can only play a little bit. I am a huge proponent of games being difficult and things like that. I am in no way trying to say that Tarkov needs to be playable for everybody, but I do think for the health of the game, we do need to have a constant influx of new players. And once the wipe gets going, we're not going to see the problems of it now. And I don't know if there will be problems. I'm just raising concerns that when streamers and more people are getting to level 20 and as the flea market goes on in like 2 weeks, you're going to have a bunch of people who are still struggling to find like their bronze pocket watch and stuff. Like think back to your first wipe, right? My first wipe, I barely got the bronze pocket watch because I was an idiot and bad at Tarkov. And that's okay. This game is a huge learning curve. But imagine then you're going to have all the flea market people and all of the problems we have then. You're basically this change has divided the community in the sense that you're going to have the people who have the flea market and those who don't. And that gap is going to be a lot bigger. I heard an idea, I think I saw it on Reddit, but if this is your idea, please let me know. I'd love to shout you out because I think this is great. But as the wipe goes on, lowering the flea market requirement eventually down to like level 5 at the end of the wipe. I think that would be fantastic. I like this early on. I'm just scared of the things that it might cause in the future. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good change. At least if we're looking just at me playing Tarkov, I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I love having to scavenge more and things like that. I think that's great. But I do think that this is just going to rock some stuff up and we're going to see how it goes. I just have some concerns. Quest rewards have been changed. Some of the XP is up, but the total XP to get to level 20 has also been changed. So we're going to see how that works out. I'm not level 20 yet. I believe I'm level 12 or 13 right now at the making of this video. And this is on the 2nd. So we're going to see how that kind of changes. The rebalance weapon mods in terms of fighting the meta presets. Thank God. Rebalance the availability of top tier ammunition. Good. I really am enjoying that. I'm really enjoying running BP again and not everybody having BS already in the wipe, which is nice. Reduce the strength skill bonus for movement speed. That's really nice. Tarkov felt really arcadey when you had max strength. You could just zoom, dude. And zoom in Tarkov is just not going to be the best. I think skills need to be important. I would like to see weapon specializations like proficiencies. That's the word. Weapon proficiencies doing more and skills doing a little bit less. But I'm okay with that change. I'm kind of excited for it. Leveling of mag drills going up is great. Lighting interface objects has been nice. And then the in-game map for woods is finally updated. Bunch of bug fixes. Sturman silent guards is always great because you'll walk down there and you won't hear anything, and then you hear a scav mutter and you're like, oh, it's a scav, and then you come around the corner and it's Sturmy sitting there with his SVD and, you know, getting fucking jebaited. Just a couple other things. Inventory hands, where the player tried to move a cartridge from the chamber weapon into his hands to a full stack of ammunition. That was a really annoying bug, which is great. Air filters are now working a little bit better. Mods locked behind a quest did not unlock the purchase screen. That was great because the MPX handguard. If you know about the skeletonized MPX handguard quest, you know what I'm talking about here. But this is a big one for me. Things are looking better. Hideout management's great. Bolt catch animations used. Okay, this is something I actually found, and I submitted this in. I'm not saying I found this change, but I experienced this bug a lot with M4s at level 2 special proficiency. When you have an M4 has a bolt catch on it. So the last round fires, the bolt gets locked back. That's when they're hitting that button on the side of the M4. So what was happening is that the bolt would come back, it would lock in the rear position, and the bolt catch would catch the bolt, doing its job. The animation would remove the magazine, input a new magazine, and then rack the back of the rifle. Which works. It's just excessive. You would hit the side, which would be faster and easier, and then do the same thing. Like, it was just a weird kind of jank, and it's great. Hits in the Aventil worsen the condition of the helmet itself. This is big and makes this helmet a lot better now. Visual bugs on the stocks. That's always big. And that was kind of the last thing I wanted to talk about here. And there might have been one more, actually. Yeah, skills are doing... Oh, this is it right here. Quest, the Punisher Part 4 could be done without a scav vest. Nikita, why did you do me like this? I thought we were buddies. I defended you on Twitter, and now you're doing me dirty like this. Buddy, come on. Come on, Craig. You're better than this, man. Now you're making me actually do the quest like I'm supposed to. Fucking Sag, dude. If you're not aware, this is a task where you have to kill PMCs on shoreline with the scav vest and a balaclava on. You used to just have to wear a baklava, as we called it. But now you have to actually wear the scav vest, which isn't a huge deal, but it's just annoying. Weapon mastery progress being better is great. They're trying to fix the ACOG to be viable. The ACOG has been garbage for a while. It's gotten a lot better. But hopefully we'll see ACOGs because ACOGs are pretty cool. They fixed sight alignments on certain weapons, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of the big fixes. Physics optimization is going to be really important for maps like Streets. I know you guys are really excited for Streets and Lighthouse and the new maps. And a lot of these physics optimizations are going to be fantastic for performance. We're currently playing a game that running the FPS counter on drops your FPS, so having more optimizations are always going to be good. So guys, these are my opinions. This is just a super quick little YouTube video I'm throwing together. I thought I'd throw these out. If you're interested, be sure you like the video, follow, comment, subscribe. I stream on Twitch Tuesday through Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/formalblizzard. I'd love to have you over in the chat. But guys, I'd love to hear your opinions on these issues, and I'd love to see them down in the comments. But guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in raids.